Hi guys, it is an absolutely spectacularly gorgeous spring day here in the end times in the formerly drought-plagued wasteland of South Austin, Texas, where my rock is still an island today, and I got to get off to make my $12 an hour. Where are we? We're at Thursday, May 15th, 2014. This is your old depressed collapsitarian getting ready to take his 5 years of college and real estate licenses in 3 states so I can go make $12 an hour getting this house and property for this woman in South Austin to sell for $700,000. So she can give the listing to another real estate agent, which that would be, about $14,000 I would put in my pocket if I were her real estate agent. I would be making about $14,000 off this sale. But instead, I am making $12 an hour. And I don't know, am I bragging or complaining? I think actually, guys, I am bragging about this. The fact that I can live off $12 an hour, but it's not what I'm living off of. I live off of $8,000 a year. Okay, for people who do not know this dumb hippie, former real estate agent, 5 years ago, voluntarily walked away from my job, where my income fell from over $100,000 a year to $8,000 a year. So for the past 5 years, I have been living off of $8,000 a year, which was fairly easy down there in Peru and Ecuador to do that. But I have been back here in the United States of America for now 2 years and 2 months, living off $8,000 a year. I am living proof that you can live off of $8,000 a year in the United States of America in 2014 and be alive to talk about it. Here you go. Anyone who claims you can't do it, here I am, and I just loved it. So I'm sitting here getting ready to go make my $12 an hour, and I just love this collection of stories here. I just want to touch briefly on the mainstream media. Of course, I start out with this little girl picking through a garbage dump in South Sudan for her food. Then I go from that story to, this is from Switzerland, conundrum of living on under $4,500 a month in Switzerland, where I guess they're getting ready to, they're having a referendum to make the minimum age in Switzerland $25 per day. $25 a day, so you can scrape by in Switzerland. And then I go over from Switzerland to Kentucky. This one, poor Kentucky has no stomach for Obama. But one thing that I found out in this article, this kind of surprised me, is Wolfe County, Kentucky has the lowest average income, so not median, the average income of the 3,146 counties in the United States of America. Coming in at number 3,146 is Wolfe County, Kentucky. And so I don't know, what would you think is the lowest average income in the United States of America for any county? I don't know what I would have guessed $20,000. And so that just means, well, what percent of 20,000 is 8,000? No, it comes out at $31,000 per household. In Wolfe County, $31,000. And so 41% of Wolfe County's inhabitants live below the poverty line. So the poverty line in 2014 is now defined as $11,670 per person per year. So I am making about 2/3 of poverty wages, and it's talking about that 41% of these people make less than $11,670. So that means that, what does this mean? That 59% of Wolfe County, Appalachia, Kentuckians make more than $11,670, I guess. And it also says here that 35% of Wolfe County residents receive food stamps. I have never taken a food stamp in my entire life and never will. So I just love finding out that I am at 2/3 of the poverty line here in Travis County, Texas, in Austin, Texas, one of the healthiest job markets in the country. So, how am I managing to do this, guys? And I'm pretty well fed, despite my mental, emotional, psychological condition. I'm in pretty good physical health. I'm not hungry. I'm $8,000 a year. Maybe the way that Hambone Littletail is surviving on $8,000 a year in Travis County, Texas in 2014 could have something to do with this U.S. News and World Report "No Shit Sherlock" headline. How less consumption leads to early retirement. I retired at age 49 is when I took a voluntary retirement from the real estate industry. How less consumption, meaning less consumption of this planet-eating shit, is what leads to early retirement. I reduced my income voluntarily by 92%. The way I did this was to voluntarily reduce my consumption of this planet-eating shit by, well, about 92%. I cut out 92% of this shit out of my life, and here I am, retired, although I take an occasional foray into the $12 an hour job. So before I head off, let me just look at a little bit at U.S. News and World Report. Do you want to retire early, then spend less and save more? You've probably heard this advice preached countless times and completely agree with its principle. But you know how it goes. Saving money makes perfect sense until you see something you want. And then every urge you have learned to control yourself goes swiftly down the drain. In the heat of the moment, you don't think too much about the impact of, a seemingly small purchase. But how much are you really giving up when you give in to small purchases? And here are a few reasons daily spending lengthens the amount of time you will spend in the 9-to-5 grind. Okay, And I'm just going to touch on, I'll put the link on here for any of you who need the mainstream media to spell this out for you. Number one, your expenses are directly tied to how many years you need to work. Gee, how about point number two? Avoiding discretionary purchases could help you retire sooner. Next, you don't need to save up as much. And finally, it is much easier to come up with the income to replace the smaller lifestyle. No shit, Sherlock. The more of this planet eating shit that you give up is the less money you need to make. The final paragraph, but for some people, spending less is extremely hard. We all live in the same modern society that celebrates consumption. But think about what you are giving up whenever you click the buy button. Is years of working worth those extras that you will forget about after owning them for a while? Gee, guys, how many times have we heard this? Once again, this is your depressed, collapsitarian, eco-Nazi, former real estate agent. The ham-bone level of how to live on $8,000 a month and not go on food stamps. Get rid of every interest-bearing account in your life. Get rid of it. Every interest-bearing mortgage, credit cards, whatever. Speaking of credit cards, cut your credit cards in half. Do not play this game with these goddamn banksters behind it all. Get rid of all credit out of your life. If you cannot afford it, don't buy it. Get rid of that gas-sucking car. The number one financial drain in your life. Get rid of the gas-sucking car and get rid of the credit cards. You're right there. You can probably, you're now getting down where you can live just fine under $20,000. Next, if you are living in any sort of space bigger than 150 square feet, I have been living for the past two and a half years in a 150 square foot trailer. I assure you, if you just get rid of this planet-eating shit out of your life, just this crap, this stuff, like I'm going to be moving around from storage shed to storage shed to storage shed today, get rid of it, guys. Pare yourself down. Figure out what you need, every bit of stuff in your life to live in 150 square feet, whether it is a trailer, a tiny house, or a goddamn shipping container. Find a way to do it. Trust me, it can be done. How many times have I said that the last move I made was out of my 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom McMansion with the 2-car garage, so full of this planet-eating shit that I had no room for my gas-sucking car or my gas-sucking truck. But I own no gas-sucking car. I own no gas-sucking truck. Every material possession that I own now fits into my 150 square foot trailer with me. And if you agree to live in a 150 square foot trailer with no plumbing, as how many people? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 out of the 8, no, 6 out of the 8 people that on our little unintentional community here live in less than 150 square feet. 5 out of the 8 of us do not own a gas-sucking car. As far as I know, 1 out of the 8 of us makes $31,000 a year. 7 out of 8 of the people who live here make less than $31,000 a year, and I don't know how many make $8,000. Probably maybe 3 out of the 8 of us have figured out how to live on $8,000 a year. And the way you do it is getting rid of the gas-sucking car and agreeing to live in a trailer, a tent. I think we got one boy here living in a goat house. None of us have indoor plumbing, and you just need to make a few little sacrifices. How about drinking 1 beer a day? Drinking 1 beer a day instead of 2 beers. I assure you that will, if you're drinking 6 beers a day and you go from that to 1 beer a day, you have just cut your alcohol budget by 5/6. Obviously, and this one, these people on their goddamn food stamps smoking cigarettes. And before somebody starts squawking about Hambone's weed budget, my marijuana budget for the past year has been, I can tell you exactly how much it has been. In the past year, I have spent $100 on marijuana for the past year. So give yourself a $100 a year budget on marijuana. I have not been to a movie in one of these whiners in Switzerland talking about how she needs $4,500 a month, talking about she needs to go see movies. No, she does not need to go see movies. I have not seen a movie in years. What does it cost to go to a goddamn movie now? Guys, I'm running out of patience. You know, this old lefty going on there, you know, all these lefties talking about how we need to raise the goddamn minimum wage, blah, blah, blah. Oh, of course, guys, how could I forget? Sterilize yourself. That's the number one way that I have saved money over my lifetime, is don't have kids. I guarantee you that is the biggest way, the single biggest way to save money. Don't have kids. I'm getting sick and tired of these whiners that they can't eke out a living on minimum wage. So minimum wage would be, what is that now? About $60 a day. $60 a day is a hell of a lot more money than I make. It's called, you gotta make a few sacrifices and save the planet while you do it. Anyway, enough of this rant. How many times, I'm sick of your damn whining. If you make $8,000 a year and you're whining that you just can't make it in the year 2014, obviously, dude, you ain't trying hard enough. You know, I don't have any sympathy for you. If you're making over $8,000 a year, and driving around in your gas-sucking car, smoking your damn cigarettes, drinking your six-pack of beer today, going home to your 10,000-foot mansion. I'm done with all of you. I got to get out of here and go make my $12 an hour. And I'm glad to make my $12 an hour. Anyway, enough of this shit. Quit your whining. Quit your bitching. Bye, guys.